Now, as we talk about what these apparel companies currently do, a really popular theme, not only among the athletic apparel companies, but like other companies too. They see that these athletes, especially the most popular ones, have a massive influence among all people, mainly sports fans, obviously, but like most people, even if you're not a sports fan, you know who LeBron James is. And he signed with Nike. He's on all those types of commercials, but he's also signed with Sprite. He does this for the Sprite commercials. So he's a big part of advertisement, not only for sports apparel, but throughout the whole world. He's just a big star. A lot of people look up to him. So I mean, that's why Sprite wanted him, and that's why they wanted him to be in their advertisements, because they see how big of influence he has. And obviously, if I know just off the top of my head that he's in a Sprite commercial, like a lot of other people know, and he probably has an influence there too. Um, but yeah, that's what like all these companies are doing now is, that's the main theme is they get all these famous athletes that people see, and they know that they're popular athletes, so they sign them to their advertisement in hopes that people who look up to them as idols, and they say, oh well, they're in this commercial, like LeBron, for example, with the Sprite. Maybe someone looks up to LeBron, and then, I mean, that's how advertisements work without famous people. Is hopefully you see an advertisement and you want people to go buy that based on the advertisement. But they might have a little more influence if, say, LeBron James is on there, Michael Jordan is on the commercial, with these people that look up to them. So for Nike, Bleacher Report put out an article and had the top 15 most influential basketball players in the whole world, whether they're playing now or have retired already. And 7 of the top 9 were signed with Nike, and Nike is considered the elite basketball brand. So obviously those guys have a massive influence with Nike. Nike, I mean, was big before they started signing with these guys, but all these shoe brands try signing shoe contracts with these guys, and they usually choose Nike because Nike's grown that reputation of carrying on top tier stuff that the best pros like to use. I mean, I don't want to say it works against these companies too, but Adidas has tried doing that same thing, which Adidas isn't like focused on basketball, which I guess neither is Nike, but Nike basketball is Nike's main thing, but they do excel in other sports areas as well. But Adidas signed Derrick Rose and Dwight Howard, who were both really good players at one point. Not that they're bad right now, but they're just, I mean, people aren't going to look up to them, and like they're not top tier in the NBA right now. But at one point they were, and Adidas signed them, which seems like a good move at the time. But over the years, their play has deteriorated, and no one really cares about them anymore. So, I mean, that hasn't really worked out for Adidas. Not that that's hurt their sales or anything, but I mean, it's not helping them, and they're paying these guys for their shoes, and it's just not gaining them any money. But obviously, with Nike, they have Jordan Brand, who, I mean, just him himself brings in a ton of revenue. And you have LeBron, Kobe, Kyrie, all those guys. So they bring in quite a bit of money, not only with their shoe lines or whatever, but they in the terms of advertising. They see that these guys are advertising for them. They trust them enough to make a whole shoe line with them. So they attract a lot of customers by people who looked up to them as idols, and they want to carry on the tradition of how these basketball players use this brand and they trust this brand, and they're the best at what they do, which in turn makes the younger generation want to buy this stuff in hopes that it makes them better.